The film starts with a scary jungle, where a man running in fear had a gun in his hand. A vampire comes and bites him, who did not have hair and was looking very scary, because he had big scary teeth. Vampire is one who drinks the blood of these people. Now before the vampire drinks all his blood, the sun comes out here, in which the vampire burns turns into ash. Now he was finished, but because of his bite, this man also became a vampire. Because the light of the sun was also burning him. Now to save his life, he flies away from there after covering a shawl. Hides in a shed, which is also the name of this movie. After this, we see a boy, Stan, whom his mom had come to wake up for breakfast. He was having breakfast, then he was shocked. Because suddenly his mom's condition got so bad that all her hair had fallen off. Also, his face was also starting to turn black. In a few seconds, his whole family was killed. Now here we know that Stan had a bad dream, but in reality, his parents were not alive. As he saw it, his parents died, and now he lives with his grandfather in his house. But because he was a soldier, he was a little strict, so his behavior with Stan was not good, so he did not like him very much. Now like every day, he leaves for school. We can see that the shed where the vampire man is hiding is outside Stan's house. On the way, his school's mischievous children distract him. He was on the cycle, so he hit a police truck, in which there was an officer and a sheriff. Both of them get very angry at him. Coming out, the officer tells Stan that now we are leaving you, but there will be no forgiveness next. In school, 3 mischievous boys were also bothering Stan's friend. Then suddenly Stan comes and saves him. These people started fighting, because it was not just today's work, but every day's work. Their fight increases and then the teacher comes here and separates them. Here we see a girl, Roxy, who was Stan's friend before, but now she has joined the mischievous group. She is still with them, although they do not behave well with her. Stan and his friend came out to enjoy a little. In the meantime, his friend jokes about Roxy and says something wrong. From which Stan gets angry because he likes Roxy. He gets angry and begins to go from there. His friend says that you are a crazy, cowardly person. In her greed for money and a car, she left you and you are still crazy about her. Then Stan says that in my opinion there is nothing like that. Everyone has the right to live a good life, there is no harm in it. Even after going home, he was thinking about Roxy. Then his grandfather calls him to cut the grass. Then he brings his dog out to tie. Here suddenly the behavior of the dog changes, because he was constantly looking at the shed and barking. Stan feels awkward, so he goes inside the shed to check, where he gets human teeth, which were of a vampire man. Because he too had become a vampire completely. Then he comes from behind and attacks Stan. But as soon as the sun comes through the window, he starts burning. He leaves Stan, and he runs and saves his life after having a chance. In this way, Stan's life is saved. Stan starts threatening him to come out quietly. Otherwise, I will leave my dog for you. Despite the threat, when he does not come out, Stan leaves his dog, who runs away and goes inside the shed. Now he was fine when he went, but his head came back. Seeing that, Stan is very scared. Because he understood that there is no joke here, but there is a big problem. That's why he goes inside the house to get weapons. Here his grandfather stops him and asks about the dog. Then Stan tells him everything. That there is a demon, an animal in the shed. He has killed our dog. But his grandfather does not believe it. But when he went out to check, he was convinced by seeing his dog's beheaded head. He was angry, so even after Stan's refusal, he went to the shed. The next moment he falls on the ground, on whose back the vampire had attacked. Because it was bleeding, Stan puts a lot of effort to save him. But the vampire was very strong and pulled him inside. He locks the whole shed with chains and seals it. Because he did not understand what to do. He could not tell the police because he was locked in the same jail. When he was trying to sleep at night, Then someone opens his door, which does not open because it was locked. Then the vampire starts calling him from the shed. And he also starts hypnotizing and going towards the shed. When he opens the door of the shed, the vampire attacks him. But then his eyes open. Because it was just his bad dream. The next day at school, he was trying to forget everything. That's when Roxy passed by him. She looks sad and sits next to him. They start talking and remembering their past. That's when the leader of the mischievous group, Marble, comes to bother him. He begins to tease Roxy that you're sitting with a cowardly man. Now after their departure, Stan's friend comes here. Seeing whom Roxy had left from there. Then Stan starts getting angry at his friend. That you came and spoiled everything, and ruined our mission. And I could not even tell her about the shed. After talking about this, both of them went their own way. But unfortunately, Stan's friend Marble and his mischievous friend meet. Who catches him and starts hitting him very badly. There Stan takes a bat to face the vampire. He goes with great courage and bravery. But the moment the vampire breaks the door of the shed, as soon as he catches him, he is very scared. But the sun was coming out. As soon as it fell on the vampire's hands, he started burning. He leaves Stan and somehow saves his life. He had not come out of this trauma yet. That's when his friend also comes here after being beaten. They had hit him a lot. He was very angry. That's why he asks Stan to tell him about what is inside the shed, about what you were talking. Stan tells him everything. But he still does not believe this. He says that if this is true, then prove it. He says that if he goes towards the shed, that I also want to see that monster of yours. The moment he sees his terrible face, he believes. He was also scared. After that, the two friends put sticks together and closed the hole in the door. Stan says to him to give me advice on what I should do. His friend suggests bringing those naughty boys here and locking them here. I'll take my revenge and they'll not think of teasing anyone, because they'll not leave alive. Stan says how easily you've talked to kill them, but I did not think so, and we are not going to do anything like this. Actually, Stan's friend was going crazy in the fire of revenge, which was not a good thing. Stan was also scared that he might tell someone about the vampire, but his friend reassures him, "Don't worry, I am not going to do anything like this." Stan was watching a film at night, in which he wanted to learn how to kill a vampire. He knows 3 ways. First, burn him in the sun and kill him. Second, kill his heart. Third, cut his head and separate it from the body. While watching the film, he falls asleep. A girl comes out of the poster on the wall and comes to him. She was none other than Roxy. Stan lies to send Sheriff from there. That my grandfather is not at home now. Hearing this, Sheriff begins to doubt, because his car was standing outside the house. She then asks Stan about a family. But Stan says sorry, I don't even know that family. From this, she begins to suspect more. Because that family used to stay very close to his house. Someone was killing the animals of that family. To find the killer, the head of that family had gone to the jungle. But he has not returned yet. So we understand the man we saw at the beginning. The one who was running in the jungle in fear. He was actually the head of that family. Because of being a vampire, he is hiding in Stan's shed. He was getting late from school. He didn't give a proper answer to any of her words. Sheriff tells her if you want, I can drop you at the school. Stan has to agree to this. But before leaving, Sheriff sees his grandfather's stick, which was lying on the ground. Stan comes to the school and meets Roxy. She asks him what he has done to himself. Is everything fine? During his talk, Marble comes there and starts teasing Roxy again. She had crossed the limit today, which Stan could not bear. So he started beating Marble with punches. He threw him down while beating him. He couldn't do anything. All of his pride fades away in front of them all. Stan was so angry with her that he was continuously hitting him. Before he could kill Marble, the teacher came and stopped him. He tells him angrily that I am already very upset with your behavior. But today you have crossed the limit. Now I will meet your grandfather and tell him everything. He is not picking up the phone, so I have sent sheriff to bring him. Stan is very scared to hear this, because he knows if she reaches the shed, then it will be too bad. Without thinking anything, Stan runs out for the house and Marble follows him. When no one opened the door, Sheriff went towards the shed, and when she saw that it was sealed, she understood that there is someone inside. Then Stan comes here. The sheriff points her gun at him, but he tries to make her understand. But she was not ready to listen to anything. Even after refusing Stan, she opened the door. From this, the vampire comes out and punishes her by biting her neck. Then the vampire pulls her hand in which she has the gun, and takes Sheriff inside the house, and her hand was fallen outside. Now, Stan was in trauma that Marble came here to increase his trouble. He tells him that I have come to take revenge for my insult, which you beat me in front of everyone. Stan tells him that there is another big problem here, so please now is not the right time. But Marble does not listen to him, attacks him and keeps on beating him. To save him, Stan's friend comes there, who has taken the sheriff's gun, and Marble is scared to see Stan, because no doubt he is a coward, not so clever. But in the matter of madness, he is the first. Stan tries to stop him. In response, he says that if you come in the middle, then I will not hesitate to kill you. Because for so many years these people have been torturing me. I have to take revenge today. He then tells Marble to go inside the shed. Before going inside, Marble looks at the cut hand, and he becomes afraid to see it, but he has to go inside the shed. As soon as he goes inside, the vampire pulls him and attacks him. Because of this, Stan seems to be very angry with his friend. What did you do? No doubt he is not innocent, but he did not commit such a big crime that he should be killed. Now in their fight, he hits Stan with a gun and makes him unconscious. When his eyes open, he finds Roxy in front of him. Seeing the cut hand, many questions arise in Roxy's mind. Before answering any of her questions, he goes inside the shed with a weapon to check. He sees the corpse of Marble, which his friend had caught, which seemed to be quite scary because he had also become a vampire. Stan asks him where the vampire who was here has gone. Then his friend replies that he is gone for now, but he will definitely come back to take his revenge from you. In the meantime, Roxy also comes here. Seeing her, as soon as Stan's mind wanders, his friend attacks him. But on getting a chance, Stan puts a stick in his body and burns his arm in the sun, due to which he was a little burnt. When the sunlight gets on his face, he begins to burn, falls away. Stan thinks that maybe he is dead, so he comes out and takes care of Roxy. Behind him, Stan's friend had also come, because he was regretting doing all this. But it was too late for him now. He begins to burn, so Stan puts a cloth on him so that his life can be saved. But by then he had lost his breath because he was very burnt. Now this problem was solved, but the real problem was still remaining. He was the first vampire to face him. Both of them had done all the preparations that they could do, like sealing the whole house, making a lot of sharp woods. Along with this, they have hidden both the cars so that no one doubts. Now as it is night, these two were ready to kill him. Then both the friends of Marble come to the door. Now in this way his plan is spoiled. Although these two also explain to them that they should get out of here, but they do not listen to them. Then that vampire comes here. Marble's friend has seen him. His another friend was not listening to him. He himself starts running from here to save his life. But the vampire pulls him up and kills him terribly, because he had squeezed all his blood. Now seeing this, he has to open the door and bring Marble's other friend inside. But it was of no use, because Roxy had forgotten to close the door of the upper floor. Now the vampire comes up and starts roaming there. These three make a plan to go up and kill him. They come up with their own weapons. They get separate to find the vampire, which they should not have done, because then his other friend came in front of Marble's friend, who was now a vampire himself. He attacks this friend and makes him a vampire too. Now Roxy goes to the room and starts looking at the pictures. From behind, Marble's vampire friend comes and attacks her. Hearing his voice, Stan, as soon as he goes, the two vampire friends of Marble come in the middle. Then he quickly goes to a room and locks him. He begins to load the gun so he could kill them. Now Marble's two vampire friends were also entering forcibly. Taking advantage of this, Stan kills both of them with a single bullet. Because he had shot the bullet in the mouth of the first one, which went to the chest of the previous one. In this way, one's head was torn and separated from the body, while the other's heart. Then the vampire, as soon as is about to bite Roxy, Stan comes here, who had pointed a gun at the vampire. But he was so fast that in a single attack, he comes to Stan and after taking the gun from him, he throws it away. Stan takes an axe and hits him on the shoulder. But even this does not do much to the vampire. He was hitting Stan so hard that Roxy came in the middle and put a gun on him. Seeing him, the vampire throws Stan behind and starts moving towards Roxy. She fires a gun at him, nothing happens. To save her, Stan throws a knife towards the vampire, but it comes and hits Roxy. Because the vampire was stuck behind, he now catches Stan again to kill him. After this, Roxy separates his head from his body with an axe, from whom now this devil dies. After that, they burn the whole shed, putting all the vampires' corpses inside it. Both of them were very happy. Here, this movie story ends here.